everybody. It's Jeff Antoniuk. Welcome to the Guided Listening today. So today we're going to be listening to the song Body and Soul, one of the most famous jazz ballads there is. And I think we can point back to Coleman Hawkins in 1939, who did this very, very famous version of the tune. And it sort of brought in this idea of, well, do we call modern jazz in 1939, but a vertical approach to playing as opposed to a melodic approach. A lot has been made of that. There's a great book that I have just over there by my friend Eric Allen, where he transcribes solos by some of the greats, from Stan Getz to Chris Potter, Dexter, on and on, analyzing solos over this great tune. So I'm going to go from saying all those people's names in that sentence to, well, who is going to play Body and Soul on our Guided Listening? And the answer is me. So slightly weird. I could have picked maybe some other versions of Body and Soul for you guys, but this is Guided Listening. And in Guided Listening, I talk about what I am hearing when I listen to a Coltrane recording or a Michael Brecker recording or Clifford Brown or whoever it is, right? And of course, I'm using my educated ears and my experience to guess what's going on. I'm a good guesser, I think I'm pretty accurate, but I'm guessing. Here's the thing. I know what the sax player was thinking on this because it was me 1 week ago playing it. So this is a recording I did at a fantastic jazz club called the Yardbird Suite in my hometown of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And this was playing with some of my best friends. The concert was a 2-tenor concert with Kent Sangster, fantastic sax player. He's not on this cut, but I'm gonna post some stuff with Kent and I playing together. Aretha Tillotson on the bass. Jamie Cooper on the drums, Chris Andrew on the piano. So some of these folks I've known for decades and decades and decades, and I haven't played much with them in decades and decades. So this was a wonderful gig to get to do. So a little background is we got together 2 hours before the show and we rehearsed some tunes. Kent and I decided you do a ballad in the first set, I'll do a ballad in the second set. And I just said, how's Body and Soul? The band said, yep, fine. And we didn't rehearse it because it'll be fine. So there was zero rehearsal on this one. And with good players, that shouldn't be a scary thing. If everybody knows the tune, if nothing special is happening, it should be fine. Here's the thing. I did say I wanted to do it in 6/4, in a slow 6. But then when the sets finally came together, the song right before this was in 6/4. It was sort of an Elvin Jones 6 thing. So as I'm counting off the tune, I realized we shouldn't do this in 6. So I kind of whispered, let's do it in 4. And then I counted in 4 and that was it. So the rhythm section made some fantastic choices here. The one thing I said is, hey, Aretha and I will start this off, bass and saxophone. So that's what we hear. I didn't tell the piano player, the drummer, where to come in, when to come in, how to play, what kind of feel, when. Nothing was discussed, and the way it came out was really wonderful. So this was actually grabbed from the live stream. They do a great multi-camera live stream. So I'll put a link in the show notes here where you can find the video of this tune. So we'll just listen to audio for right now. And let's dig into it. So this is Body and Soul, and you'll hear that it starts with bass and saxophone. That's the only instruction the band had. Here we go. So Aretha and I had no idea the style each other would be playing in. So I'm listening to Aretha as I'm playing. And she's playing these nice fills, and I'm getting a sense of her feel. So I like that she's playing more than a little. Do these great melodic fills. They're not getting in my way, but they're giving me something to play against. They're also allowing me to stay simple to begin with, because there's interest in her line. What a great player. Her. And you hear those cymbal swells. That was Jamie's decision. And they're very dramatic. They're very cool. But he's not playing time at all, right? So I'm speeding up the texture because I'm guessing the rhythm section may come in here. And there's piano and drums. It makes sense they'd come in at the bridge. So I'm hearing brushes, but I'm hearing some cymbals too. Interesting. And a lot of these fills I'm playing are all devices, licks, ideas I've practiced. Some of this is improvised, a lot of it is not. I quoted a Monk tune there, Ask Me Now, one of my favorite ballads. Happens to work over those chord changes. I'd never done that before, but it occurred to me in the moment. So this is still the first chorus, so this is still ostensibly the melody, but I've left the melody behind. I'm already soloing at this point. Kind of circling back to the melody here. But I didn't come back to it. So I've really started soloing already. Here's the second chorus. So I played an idea that I echoed a total of 6 times there. When I'm playing a ballad, I'm really trying to think about how to connect ideas, for sure. Beautiful ballad feel from the rhythm section. Aretha's playing quarter notes. Embellishing them a little bit. And Jamie's between the brushes and the cymbal, which is great. Hear that in the brushes. So Jamie's hinting at some triplets. And so I come around to that after a while. I notice that. So I was experimenting with some pentatonic sounds, a half step up above the tonality, and how Chris accompanied that, how he got out of the way, and how he played chords that didn't clash with it. You can hear how the rhythm section is kind of picking up. This is the bridge, middle of the second chorus. And they're playing with more force. They're helping me build. More cymbals, right? So Jamie's hearing me building. That allows him to build. So the band, the whole team is, moving together here. Coming towards the end of my second chorus. And this is such a nice feel. It's got a bounce to it, but it's still a ballad. It's got excitement, but it's not loud. Man, that's masterful rhythm section right there. And the chords Chris is playing on piano, there's so much in there. Love that moment when we all kind of went to these short quarter notes together. That's everyone was listening. We just happened to do that, and to me that was the coolest part, maybe of the whole tune, is how we fell into that. It was great. So at this point, I look over at Chris. Take a solo, man. He doesn't know if he's going to play for 2 choruses or for 8 measures or what. But he starts playing. I wanted Chris to do a whole chorus. I wanted Aretha to solo on this because it started out as a bass and saxophone thing. But we were way over time on this set. So I thought, I was really at this point thinking like, crap, I want Aretha to solo, but I think we need to move. I think we need to go on. So I decided that. Then I thought, oh man, I think I better come in at the bridge. So this was all band leader stuff, musical decisions in let's keep this song shorter. So musical that way, but it was, being a band leader. So at this point, I'm looking around the band like, hey, I'm going to come in. I hate interrupting Chris because I want to hear the rest of his solo, but it's like, man, we got to go. So here's the middle of the tune. And I come in. I'm listening to him rolling those chords. Really building, right? And me getting loud. So I wanted this to be big, big, big so that I'd have the chance to bring it down. So I'm doing big, things I know how to be big on a ballad, right? I'm playing over the time, I'm playing altissimo, I play it as loud as I'm gonna get. And now I know I want to finish the song 8 measures from now. Listen to the band. God, what great players, right? Jamie is gone, no more drums. Piano is gone. They knew what I was gonna do. I didn't tell them. And so now it's back to duo like we started. Fantastic. This is what you can do with great musicians. And now Aretha and I have to kind of navigate how we're gonna play the end of the song. We haven't talked about it. So she knows to sort of get out of the way, maybe a cadenza. So I sort of screwed up what I wanted to do here, but what came out was okay too. It wasn't what I meant to do. And I give a nod, all right. Little Joe Henderson ending. Beautiful last chord. So that I was holding a sharp 11 at the end, holding it, and it's fun being dramatic at the end of a ballad because all that momentum that's come before is now sitting on that last chord, and let that chord ring and let it marinate and let people sit in that moment, and then it's kind of fun for me is to do a last little move, and so we heard Jamie do it on the cymbal. And right around that time. So he knew that too, to let that be dramatic. And he did a little move. And then I did one too. I resolved that sharp 11 up to the 5th. So all that was so conscious. Like that chord had been ringing 10 seconds, 15 seconds. I don't know, a long time. The song was still going on. Don't jump out. It's still there. That's, the sound decaying. It's so important. It's such a big deal. It ain't over till it's over. And so right towards when everyone's singing, it's like, okay, got it, it's done. Then we add this last little thing. So those moments I love in other people's performances, and I try to bring them into mine. So, I talked over lots of the sax player, which I don't mind in this situation. I've listened to this a couple times, trying to talk myself into thinking that this was a good idea to do a guided listening on me. One thing I noticed that I'm actually quite happy about is easily 50, 75% of what I played was literally stuff I've been practicing for the last year. Licks that I've been practicing. There's a Joel Fromm lick in the bridge there. Oh, there's a Rick Margitza thing that I like to do. Oh, there's something I stole from George Coleman. Oh, and I can hear those coming out. You may know some of those recordings, some of those licks. You may have learned some of them yourself, but I took a Joel Fromm lick from the middle of the last A section of Cherokee that he played, and I put it in the bridge of Body and Soul, a ballad, right? So how we can take an idea and just totally recast it. And hopefully I played it in a way that sounded very personal. And it would be cool if you realized like, oh, Jeff played this Joel Fromm thing. By the way, that Joel Fromm lick I'm talking about, he stole that from somewhere too. So I guess my point is in that solo, there was so much that was me consciously playing things I consciously learned. That wasn't the muse coming down and sort of, all that kind of strikes me a little bit like BS when people think that's what improvisation about. There's all the work that went into it. And then, yes, I'm trying to be in the moment. Yes, I've surrounded myself with incredible musicians that will facilitate me being comfortable, and anything I do, even if it's weird or wrong, sounds great. So that's why you hire Chris and Aretha and Jamie, right? And the people in your town that are great like they are. So if you want to listen to this thing without me yapping over top of it, it's also on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link below, and you can hear a little better the accompaniment that's going on. So hopefully that was helpful. It's a wonderful tune that I love playing. I've been playing it for decades and decades, and it was just a real pleasure to get to play with those musicians. And like I said, I don't feel bad that 3/4 of what I played was stuff in a notebook over there sitting on my desk. That's how we get better, right? I mean, as an Olympian, you rehearse that routine over and over and over again and do it perfectly, right? As a stand-up comedian, it sounds like you're making up those jokes on the fly. Most of the time, that's not what a comedian is doing. They have worked that 90-minute show for months, maybe a year, to get it into that place, right? And then they flow with it. And then, that's where it happens. But all the craft behind the art is a big deal. And so I want you to be aware of that's how most musicians do it. And it's great, those people that can be super duper in the moment. For each of us, it's a little more, a little less. But as I look at and listen to all my heroes, I hear those moments of craft and of practice in their playing. I don't care who you want to mention, all the greats, they do it too. So I was proud that coming out of that performance, I could hear the work I've done. Proves to me I should do more. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you would like to work with me and the rest of our faculty inside Jazzwire, I would love that. Please jump into the 30-day free trial or just reach out to me. Let's talk about it. I would love to work with you and get you moving ahead like this too. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time.